Pokemon Elite Trainer boxes have had one of the biggest glow-ups in recent years. I mean, if you asked me a few years ago about ETBs, I'd honestly say, unless it's a special set, just buy a booster box, or if you can, make sure to buy the Pokemon Center version. But now in 2026, that philosophy has changed drastically. In fact, one of my most successful videos of all time, which helped grow my channel a lot in the early days, it was the 4 Pokemon investments that drain your money. And one of the points was about regular ETBs. And honestly, back then, the common advice was only buy an Elite Trainer box if it's a special set, because regular ETBs don't have that much growth or future growth potential. Though that is so different now, and ETBs are definitely a unique play in the market. And that's why in this video, I want to go over the best Elite Trainer boxes to buy right now. And ETBs are not always the best value for money due to the high cost for the amount of packs you get inside, along with the fact that they are quite cumbersome to store and they can be quite big and bulky. But to be honest, since the Scarlet and Violet era, and now that every ETB does come with a promo, it also has the benefit of having sleeves and all the rest in it, and they have become a little bit of hidden gems in the market. So let's start this by talking about perfect order Elite Trainer boxes. Now, if you haven't been kept up to date, my mind has totally changed on this set. I actually think it's low-key fire. The Clefairy illustration rare, you got the Meowth SIR. Honestly, it's just much better than I initially thought. And right here, as we can see, the perfect order Elite Trainer box is right now selling for $72. That's okay, man. That is not that bad. Now, like I said, my opinion's changed on the set. I kind of like it. I'm low-key a perfect order. I think it's fire, man. It's reminding me a bit of Temporal Forces, but the only thing with perfect order is I can see the specialness of it. If you want, I don't even have the word for it. I can see it's actually more unique than I thought. And it's got a really cool illustration rare library. To be fair, yes, the Starmie and the Clefable I'm not the biggest fans of, and the Zygarde, but the illustration rares are the ones in this set that I really like, and we can see illustration rares are growing. But real talk, man, you do get the Tyrant promo in this as well. So yeah, like, it's not that desired by the whole market, but hey, why do you want to buy something like Ascended Heroes when everyone's trying to buy it? You can maybe sometimes look at a set that's not that popular, and no, Perfect Order is never going to be Ascended Heroes level, but it does have room to grow. Think about Stellar Crown, and I will be talking about Stellar Crown a bit later on in the video, but Stellar Crown, when that released, people trashed on that set, though now, because of the Squirtle and the Bulbasaur and all the other illustration rares in the set, Stellar Crown right now has become a massive sleeper hit. Also, I just want to say a big appreciation to a lot of you, because I saw the amazing comments on my last video, and real talk, man, it hit home because yeah, it's been such a big journey, this channel, and connecting with so many of you over the years, and just the amount of people across the world. I think it's really humbling for me, to be honest, because, oh man, like I see people from South Africa to Mexico to US, Canada. It is so wild. The power of YouTube and just talking with people online, and how, yeah, just anywhere across the world can relate to your content. So I really wanted to say, honestly, I didn't have a chance in that last video because I know it was a bit more of a montage, but I really appreciate all those comments to all of you. I didn't get a chance to reply to everyone, but this is my way of replying to all of you right now. Look, if you do like my style of content and you love keeping up to date with the market, honestly, I would love to have you subscribe. It is amazing seeing all the new people on this channel. Now, moving on to an Elite Trainer box that I think is being a little bit overlooked at the moment, it's Surging Sparks. Now, I find Surging Sparks really fascinating because it has one of the best promos of all time with the Shinji Kanda Magneton, and it has been growing a bit lately, but it's still looking decent. Here we go, and we're on the Surging Sparks ETB, regular ETB, selling for $122. And yeah, in the last 3 months, definitely grown, was selling for a low of $83 in the last 3 months, now selling for $125. I really think this is unique because Surging Sparks, before it came out, it was hyped. People were really excited for Surging Sparks. And then just things happened. There was Prismatic Evolutions, Deaths and Rivals, and now people don't even consider, I wouldn't even say, if you look at the whole Scarlet and Violet era sets, I think a lot of people prefer other sets over Surging Sparks, and time has been weird because as time has gone on, a lot of older Scarlet and Violet era sets, especially because of their illustration rare roster, they're being pushed up more above Surging Sparks. So it's had a bit of a fall from grace, but honestly, $125 for an Elite Trainer box, you do get the incredible Magneton promo, which is illustrated by Shinji Kanda. As a lot of you know, Shinji Kanda is one of the most prolific illustrators in the Pokemon TCG at the moment. Pretty much Shinji Kanda artworks are collected by many people across the world. So definitely, I do think Surging Spark, and the cards inside the set are awesome. A lot of Pikachu cards. Yeah, I do have to admit though, the special illustration rare Pikachu, I don't mind the card. I've always thought it was okay, but I do understand that it probably wasn't what a lot of people expected. And then when you do look at like some of the more later on Pikachu cards we've had, there's been much better. I definitely think $125, given the fact that it's not an old set by any means, but yeah, by the end of this year, it'll be a 2-year-old set. Definitely a cool one to look out for. And also, hey, for some awesome news, I am going live on another Whatnot stream on 12th June, 5 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. And I'll be giving away packs of Mega Evolution and Perfect Order for Whatnot's huge app-wide mid-year madness event. Now, today's video is sponsored by Whatnot. If you've never used Whatnot before, it's a community-focused live shopping platform. One of my favorite things is how dynamic it is, because whether you're into trading cards or collectibles or memorabilia, or you just enjoy watching live content, there's a huge range of streams and communities to explore. I've personally been streaming on Whatnot for a while now. We've pulled some absolutely massive chase cards live. And hey, if it is your first time on Whatnot, you can actually use my link in the description or just scan the QR code appearing on screen to redeem a $15 credit. I can't wait to see you on the upcoming stream. Hopefully we get some awesome pulls. A big thanks to Whatnot sponsoring today's video. Now let's get back to it. All right, moving on to White Flare Elite Trainer Boxes. So White Flare has had a bit of movement lately and it has been rising, though I think there's a lot of things going for this ETB. The main reason is because the illustration rares within White Flare are awesome. Oshawott has been moving a lot lately. The Liepard is great. And of course, the SIRs of Keldeo and Hydreigon, they're really awesome as well. Plus, you do have a chance to pull the monochromatic Reshiram as well, which is an absolutely gorgeous card. Here we are on White Flare. Now, right now, it is selling for $117. So that's grown quite a fair bit just recently. If I pull this into the 3 months, you can see the journey it's had. 3 months ago, it was selling for 80 USD. Right now, there you go, it's selling for $117. The lowest point of White Flare in the whole market in the last year was $71, which, you know, at $71, that was a good time to pick this ETB up. But yeah, man, it's selling right now for $118, given the fact that everyone's now on this same wavelength that Black Bolt and White Flare are underrated sets. Now they're kind of picking up steam. The whole thing that they're underrated, maybe they were I don't know if underrated is a thing that you can... underrated. They were pretty, like, they were still in demand, okay? You were still paying $70 for an ETB, which is much more than you would have been paying a few years ago. So they were maybe a little bit more overlooked than a lot of other sets, but definitely, man, White Flare, I love the illustration rares. I love Generation 5's cards. They did such a good job with these. So definitely, they are ones to be looking out for. There is one interesting thing about White Flare and Black Bolt that I do want to cover. Black Bolt has always been the most preferred set out of these two, but I'm interested in the long term what that's going to do, because sometimes when there's a massive momentum on something early days, the long-term outlook can be completely different. I talked about Zelda Twilight Princess, okay? That released both on the Nintendo Wii and the Nintendo GameCube. Now, during the time, everyone bought the Wii version. No one even wanted the GameCube, because that was like, why would I want to play Twilight Princess on the GameCube? I want to buy it on the Wii. And a lot of people didn't even own a GameCube in comparison to a Nintendo Wii. It didn't sell as well as the Wii. Though these days, Zelda Twilight Princess on the GameCube sells for way more than the Wii version. In fact, if you can get that in a high grade, if you do like video game collecting, the GameCube version of Twilight Princess is ridiculously expensive. So that I'm just trying to say that sometimes when there's another thing that's more desired during a time period, later on, things can change. And I do think White Flare was definitely the least loved set out of the two. So something to consider. Now, on to the next one. It is none other than Prismatic Evolutions. Here we go. Prismatic Evolutions, the fan favorite set for everyone right now, as we can see, selling for $154 US, which is expensive for an ETB. Let's not pretend anything there. But we can see, had a high in March this year for close to $200, $193 US. That's crazy, right? It has dropped a little bit, and you can see in the whole year, the lowest point Prismatic was selling for was $96, and right now selling for $154. Though, let's be real, it is still Prismatic Evolutions. It is still the set that started the whole Pokemon mania, and even though Ascended Heroes, and it's even growing at a more accelerated rate now, this was one of the biggest turning points for the Pokemon TCG. It has history. It's an iconic set. There is a lot to love about Prismatic Evolutions, but there's also a lot to despise. The pull rates being one of them, and another thing is the fact that Prismatic Evolutions does not have illustration rares, but instead you have Master Ball patterns and Pokeball patterns, which just are not exactly a good substitute in my opinion. And I don't even think that's a hot take in any way, shape, or form. I think everyone would have preferred illustration rares. Prismatic Evolutions by far is the roughest set to open in all of Pokemon. Much more than Ascended Heroes, much more than anything, because you just cannot pull illustration rares. The only chance you have of anything is a special illustration rare. And yeah, let's get real. It's very hard to, even if one of these has 9 packs, the chance to pull an SIR is rare. So yeah, for that reason, I've never put Prismatic in S tier category. I did make a video talking about, I ranked all the Scarlet and Violet era cards, sets on a tier list. And Prismatic Evolutions for me was never able to go in S tier for the big reason that it does not have illustration rares. And that has been a big kind of drawback for Prismatic, in my opinion. Now, one Elite Trainer box at the moment that I think is pretty cool is Stellar Crown. And low-key, this ETB has always looked so awesome with Terrapagos as well. It just looks incredible to display. Here we are on Stellar Crown. I'm on the whole year, and we can see it is at a market high for around 155 US, definitely expensive. But we can see a low point last year was around 75 US. If I pull that in the last 3 months, you can see it has grown quite a bit from 93 to 155. Definitely has had big growth in the last 3 months. Though the reason for that is because of the Squirtle and Bulbasaur have really pushed this set up. Stellar Crown and a lot of sets in Scarlet and Violet. I've been talking about this a lot recently, but sometimes don't worry if an SIRs in a set are not that good. Hey, Paldea Evolved has weak special illustration rares. Stellar Crown has pretty weak SIRs. Temporal Forces, I like the SIRs, but the market does not really respond to the SIRs. All these early Scarlet and Violet era sets, everyone loves the illustration rares. And that's why you do need to consider if a set releases and it's got good illustration rares but weak SIRs, hey, something right now that we can all see this in real time, they usually start performing after a longer period because people start retracing and enjoying the illustration rares. Stellar Crown is a perfect example of that, where the illustration rares are really the ones that are desired in this set. And of course, that has pushed the price up as well for the sealed product. And the next tier is Twilight Masquerade Elite Trainer boxes. Honestly, Twilight Masquerade has some awesome illustration rares, but it also has the iconic Greninja SIR. And for an early to mid Scarlet and Violet era set, it looks like a pretty awesome set. Here we are on Twilight Masquerade. Right now, it is selling for $108. This is the regular Elite Trainer box. $108 for, yeah, it's 2 years old at this point. Not too bad. Lowest point in the market in the whole year was around $65. If we pull that into the 3 months, you can see was selling for $77 and right now selling for $108. Definitely had some pretty good growth there. But yeah, Twilight Masquerade, in my opinion, the ETB is definitely looking like a pretty unique one at the moment. Of course, the main draw for this whole set is that gorgeous Greninja special illustration rare. I think that Greninja is better than the Mega Greninja. That's my opinion at the moment. I do like the Mega Greninja. I think the blues look really cool. It's unique. But I don't know, something about Twilight Masquerades is just so different, so unique, so just, it's a completely different artwork in my opinion. It will be interesting to see how Twilight Masquerade goes in the very long term. But for the short term right now, I think for this ETB, yeah, it's a unique one in the market. The whole Pokemon world right now is going through just a big change. I think a lot of people are realizing like, hey, I'm getting messages a lot, just like people are just always asking, Phil, I've just got into Pokemon. I'm getting into Pokemon. What should I buy? And it's like, instead of focusing that much on, oh, what should you buy? Make your goal what you want in collecting. Decide what you want to, or the path you want, rather than worrying about, if I looked at every card that I talk about in these videos, I do not own every card that I talk about in these videos. Number one, it's too expensive. Number two, you also have to be strategic with what you buy. And number three, there's nothing really that fun at just about spending hundreds and hundreds of dollars a week on Pokemon cards. You do want to have some goals in collecting. And that's really important. I talk to my audience, and if you on the other side there, I just want to let you know, when I make these videos talking about the cards and sets, I don't own every single one of these. And I just want to be clear with that as well. And it's just, you have to choose your lane in collecting. That's very important in this hobby, because when you choose your lane and you choose your path, you can make the decisions that kind of fit you best, rather than, going into just buying everything and anything because it's going to grow. Sure, they can grow, but hey, one thing we all haven't experienced for a long time is a big market pullback. We have not experienced that pretty much for nearly 2.5 years, okay? When I started the channel, actually, we were going through a market pullback then. A lot of cards were dropping when I started this channel. Yeah, it was happening. It was big pullbacks, in fact. We have not seen that for a while. And when that happens, confidence will shake. It's something to consider. Right now, it's just been endless growth. It doesn't mean that's all going to happen. Maybe after the 30th anniversary, there will be a bit of a correction. We don't know at this point. It is speculative at the moment of what's going to happen. Elite Trainer boxes are honestly great buys, and they're easily the best product to buy when you're starting out collecting. Though this does bring up the question, okay, you've talked about Elite Trainer boxes, Phil, but what about booster boxes? Well, you can see me speak about the best booster boxes in the current market in this video on screen here. In this video, I'll look in the best booster boxes in the market that's happening today. Honestly, I really appreciate you watching the video. Don't forget to subscribe. You're going to really love that video appearing on screen. Appreciate you watching, and hey, I'll see you on the next video.